People ask me many questions, and sometimes people ask me questions about how to protest and how to advocate for justice. For me, I study, I pray, and I preach. I study, I pray, and I preach. I study because getting an education is an act of protest against ignorance, injustice, and complacency. Getting an education is an act of protest against ignorance, injustice, and complacency. I pray because God is real. I pray because the church requires me to pray. I pray because I need to cry out to God for justice, for compassion, for wisdom, for understanding, for healing, for patience, for perseverance, and for the grace to take one more step on my pilgrimage with Him. I pray at the Mass, and I pray when I receive Holy Communion, and Jesus feeds me and strengthens me so that I can feed you and strengthen you. I pray because praying is an act of protest against the demons and against those who persecute us and against those who want to use us for their own distorted purposes. I pray because praying is an act of protest against evil and injustice. I study, I pray, and then I preach. And I do not only preach from the pulpit when we celebrate Mass. I preach from the chair in my confessional. I preach when I meet with law enforcement, city, and government officials. I preach because preaching is an act of protest against doubt, ignorance, injustice, and complacency. And that is why I study. And that is why I pray. And I'm not the only preacher in this community, and I don't just mean my deacons. If you are baptized, you have been commissioned by Jesus Christ to preach the gospel of salvation and preach the gospel of justice. But to fulfill that mission, we need to study and we need to pray.